Hey, what's up everybody? I'm Ryan. I'm making this video for MAKEWAR class number 12. I'm here in a hotel room because I'm traveling right now, but don't let that distract you. I'm just going to share a little bit about my story and my relationship with God so far, and sort of what's got me to the point where I'm at in my life now, and how He has been the only one that's really made all of that possible, and just how great that is, and how He has changed my life. I guess I'll start talking sort of where I was, the journey that got me to where I'm at now, and then what the Lord's done in my life through that process. I grew up in the church. I would say I believed in God and I knew of God, but I didn't know God and have like a personal relationship with Him for a lot of my life. I was saved. I went to church services, but a lot of time I didn't really understand what it was like to walk with the Lord and to deny myself. I moved around a lot after I graduated high school. I went to college for a bit, and then I was in the United States military for a while. And through that period, my young adulthood, I really struggled with grappling with righteousness and what it meant to deny oneself and really follow the Lord. And so on one hand, I was a Christian and I believed these things, but on the other hand, I was in an environment and I was making choices that were completely against God's will and the things that I thought would be true. And I felt a lot like a hypocrite. I was out partying, doing things that didn't bring honor to the Lord, didn't bring honor to my body, to the relationships that I had with other people. And that pattern continued for several years, probably from the time I was, maybe 20, 21 years old, up until, maybe I was, in my late 20s, and I didn't do anything about it other than, I would feel really bad that I'd made these choices, and, I would go back and I'd return to God, and then ultimately I'd fall into these same sin patterns and life choices over and over again. I've come to realize that, God has showed this to me, that a lot of the reason I would fall back into those sin patterns is because I was trying to do life on my own. I'm very trying to be a self-reliant person, and that's a flaw. It's a lot of pride that I have in myself, that I think I can do it all. I don't need to rely on anyone else. But I'm here to tell you that if you try to go through life on your own terms, making yourself happy, which is what I did for my entire life, up until I really, understood what it meant to walk with the Lord, following yourself and what yourself wants is just going to make you unhappy. And it did for me. I was really upset and kind of depressed for a period of time in my life. And a lot of that was because I made my own choices and I didn't walk with the Lord. And the ultimate, result of that sin is destruction and death, the spiritual death that I'd felt for some time. So I was kind of at this low point in my life, and knew that the only thing that could really get me out of it was the Lord. And I turned back to Him and I said, I'm going to really just start by reading Scripture, start by going through and just understanding His Word, and just turning my life over to Him, really, really understanding what it meant to submit and follow the will of God. And a lot of that, was tough because I had to, leave some old ways and some old friends and stuff behind. But over time, I realized what it meant to be sanctified and what it meant to be justified and washed by the Lord. Little by little, His Word would reveal things to me and change my life. And it gave me hope. It gave me perspective. And I understood that I was not going to overcome sin by just wrestling with it myself. We never will. I think, and if you're struggling with sin and you're watching this video, know that that's okay. We struggle with sin. It's human nature. That's who we are. But the only way that you're going to defeat those patterns of sin that you might be in is by relying on the Lord. He's ultimately the one that allows us to emerge victorious over sin and over death. It's not what we do, it's what He's done and what He's done on the cross. And so understanding that, I couldn't do it on my own. I needed to understand what God was telling me and trying to guide me and provide for me. Little by little, I understood what it meant to trust in Him. And over time, I've come to, I'm not perfect, nobody ever is, but I've come to understand that the only way I can resist sin and, resist self so that I may serve others better is by relying on Him and His Word more. So I'm here to tell you, you may not know where you're at with the Lord or where you're at with God, but for me, I can tell you in my life, I've seen His presence. I've seen His presence in the lives of many others that I care about. He's real. He can change lives. And if that's something you want to learn more about, I can share more about my story. Just send me a message on YouTube. Thanks for watching.